you and your family's life to be better than it is, and I want you to have more protection than you have, and I hope you can get it.
Thank you, and I am prepared. This is my hill to die on, and I will probably potentially lose everything and maybe even be arrested because I'm not giving up my daughter's personal information. And if that means I am in contempt of court, I have done everything. I have shown up in court. I have told the truth. I have flown up here. I've met with prosecutors. I have honored the subpoena. I have done everything they have asked me to do, and they have not protected me. And this is the one thing. This is my line in the sand. This is my little girl.
Donald Trump may have lost his hush money case, but Stormy Daniels is still paying the price for ever crossing him. It's much more than legal battles on this watch list.
Trump is trying to make an example out of me, of anybody who dare stand up to him. And I was served again the day before yesterday. And they were trying to take my partner's house. It has nothing to do with me. He doesn't even own the house, technically. It's got a mortgage. The bank owns it. I don't own that house. I pay him rent every month because I split some bills with him, but I don't own it. My name's not on the title. I didn't put any money down on this house. They're trying to take his house. They're demanding personal information about my 13-year-old daughter. I refuse to fill out that form. They're
identifying information about her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where she lives, her legal name, her date of birth. Like, why do you need that about a child? So I didn't fill out that part of the form. I left it blank. And they rejected it and sent it back and are demanding that I be held in contempt with sanctions and that I have to pay this money. I have to pay $600,000 plus sanctions and be in contempt of court, which comes with a warrant possibly, because...
An arrest warrant.
An arrest warrant, because the things I said, which they found him guilty of, I also have to pay.
So here's what's going on. Completely separate from the testimony Stormy Daniels gave in Trump's criminal trial, which resulted in him being found guilty of all 34 charges against him, she filed and lost a defamation suit against him back in 2018 over his response to her publicizing an alleged account of a man threatening her and her daughter. So even though he's guilty of falsifying business records to conceal his hush money payment in order to look squeaky clean for the election, she's still on the hook for the defamation laws.
So the case in which you just testified was a criminal case brought by prosecutors. You were subpoenaed to be there just as a witness. The reason that you owe Trump money is a separate matter. Right. Your former lawyer, Michael Avenatti, who is now in prison for defrauding you and other clients, yes, brought a defamation suit against Trump by you. That case was thrown out and Trump was awarded attorney's fees. Correct. And that totals, to make a long story short, it totals at about $600,000 that you need to pay Trump.
Correct. And I was never allowed to give testimony. They never saw my evidence. It was never ruled whether I was telling the truth or not. So for all those people that are out there saying you lost a defamation case because they found you to be a liar or untruthful, is not true. They never even looked at the case. Other side of that is Miss Carroll, E. Jean Carroll, was called the exact same things by Donald Trump. And not only did they accept her case and let her take the stand and let her have her day in court, they've given her millions.
Right.
Meanwhile, my attorney's fees have racked up to over $500,000.
The bottom line in this less publicized fallout of the encounter between Trump and Daniels is that due to different judges overseeing different aspects of the legal issues both of them face, only one of them is seeing realistic threats on their lives.
In terms of what happens next, Judge Merchan just lifted the gag order. Mm-hmm. So he's still prohibited from attacking court staff and prosecutors and their families, but he is now free to attack jurors and witnesses, which means you.
Right.
When the gag order was in place, did you benefit from that at all? Are you worried about it being lifted?
No. I mean, he's going to say what he's going to say anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of what he could say about me or what he could call me. I'm telling the truth. I'm the only one that has continued to tell the truth. I can prove everything that I've ever said. So I'm not concerned about those things he might say.
Yeah.
I'm concerned of him saying something that will make his followers come after me more.
Has that changed over time, the character of the way people have come after you, the kind of language? How has it changed over time?
The biggest thing is that they're not hiding. They used to all be bots.
Oh.
Now they're using their real stuff. There's, Facebook threads from people in my own community planning to do things to my house and my family. I sent some messages over when Barrett was on another show, and they couldn't even air everything they said, graphic details about how they were going to rape everybody in my family, including my young daughter, before they killed them. Very graphic things talking about a child.
So this is where gag orders and forceful prosecutions for people that think becoming a MAGA foot soldier to inflict some punishment on someone like Daniels are important. Even supporters can quickly move on after her testimony helped secure the convictions that he was given. But the danger remains and sometimes grows, with very little people living through it every day.
I am the only person that every single day for the last 6 years, this has bled into my life. Some days worse than others. Some days I'm picking pellets out of my horse's body and getting served papers and sobbing because they're trying to, that I miss my daughter. And she's not safe if she's with me sometimes. And some days it's just things I read on the internet. But every single day, even you, you live this, you tell the story, even you, Rachel, there has to be moments where you've gotten to check out, at least for a minute.
Yeah.
I've never had a day like that in over 6 years.
Given that, are you worried about Trump potentially being elected to a second term?
Shouldn't we all be worried about that?
Are you worried about it particularly for you?
Yes.
Why?
Because I think that he will try to make even more of an example out of me. And also because his followers will probably be even more bold, thinking if they do something, he'll pardon them.
And on top of all that, we've got several justices on our highest court that are more concerned with making sure Trump doesn't have to even bother with facing consequences that already barely affect his ability to destroy the lives of judges, jury members, and of course, witnesses willing to testify. So when people question the validity of someone's story because it sometimes takes victims years to come forward, if they do at all, this case is a clear example of why. It leaves them afraid to try, and anyone helping less willing to get involved.
How much stress did all that put on her with everything else in her life?
Well, she just wants to get on with her life, and the fact that it keeps coming back over and over and over, it creates a lot of stress. I think that, to have to relive these moments over, as much as it's boring for the media to keep hearing it over and over again, it sucks for her to have to keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. It wears on her. I think everyone thinks this is that Democrats are funding this whole thing or some crazy stuff like that. But, she's doing all of this because she's doing what she feels is right for this country and for the people in this country and for the future of her daughter. And I think most people think that she's doing this for money. She ain't rich. We ain't rich. We don't have millions of dollars. We don't. In fact, even to do the case, she had to come out of her own pocket to fly up there, get a hotel, her own food. Now, I'm sure they'll reimburse her at some point, but no one's fronting the bills for any of this stuff. This is all her fighting for what she believes is right and telling the truth.